So we've got this piece of wood above a fireplace, and well, we have a candle here, which is maybe hiding something. And if we move the candle, we've got a nasty scorch mark. It's from some little metal, what do you call these, candle inserts maybe, that should have gone onto something ceramic or glass or a plate or anything, ashtray, to stop it directly touching, because it obviously got overheated. And there's a few small marks. You can see a couple of little tiny scorch marks. Okay, so let's try and see how we can get that off. We'll try to start with steel wool and a bit of water. I've just got a damp cloth for now. Let's see how bad it is. I've got the feeling we might need to sand this away. Oh yeah. Well, actually, this is the whatever this was varnished with, or wood preservative with, or something like that. I'm scratching that off with my finger. Okay, well, let's see what happens if we go underneath that. Well, look at that. I mean, first of all, that's a lot better already. So this definitely looks worth doing. We can save this quite easily. Well, not quite easily. I think we can save it and get a good result. Let's just wet that a bit and see what happens. Okay. It's a bit darker when we wet it. But then we get it lighter again. Okay, we're definitely going to have a bit of a hole here. See the ash, the burnt wood, the scorched mark part of it is getting onto the steel wool, because it's normally grey. Alrighty. I think we take this off and hit it with the belt sander. Yay! Alright, so just got a bunch of flathead screws. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Let's hope the rest are the same. Very light touch. Alright, let's see if it comes off. Haha! Nice. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Funny, eh? Sometimes you're like thinking, wow, it's going to be a lot of work, and then, off it comes, and you're like, okay. So this is the bottom. It looks like it needs a bit of a cleaner. You can see this is the bit that was protected by, the piece of metal. And then around here, I don't know, from the fireplace, a couple of cracks in it. Nothing end of the world. But I think it just shows that we need to sort it out. Make it look better. Let's take it outside. Clamp it and get sanding. So I'm going to try to take this beading off here. I assume it's beading quarter round. See on the back here, it's kind of loose already. It's just got a little nail here, and then it's being glued along the front a bit. Well, again, I thought that would have been much harder. So far, we're on a bit of a winning streak. Just got to pull out a couple of nails that didn't want to come out by themselves. One that side, and one right here in the corner. Just grabbing the vice grips because they're closest. I'll also use a claw hammer. Look at that. Made in USA. Interesting. So I thought using the claw hammer would be more work. I suppose with small nails like this, it's easier just to pull them out, eh? There we go. Time to get clamping, eh? Got a few clamps on here now, so that should hold it nicely. Let's get the belt sander out. So that's a big improvement. I think I better do the other side of this, just for my sanity, or OCD. Alright, so this is the bottom. See, it's got paint on it. I don't know, heat stained from the fireplace, protected by the metal. Let's see what it cleans up as. So what we just sanded, just had a little bit of sanding, and it's had no sanding. Yeah. Huh, slight difference, eh? Alrighty, and then just to handle this round bit, I think we'll use a smaller orbital sander. I notice this middle section comes off quite a bit easier. I suppose it's because the heat is from the fire broken down this protective layer. I'm pretty happy with that. Bear in mind that's the bottom where the fire has slowly cooked the wood. I've decided I'm going to tap the nails out just so that I can work with it without getting zapped. There's always one. Aye. Figured out pushing it while turning it works. It pops out. Voila. Right, let's see what we can do with this thing. Really just want to clean it up without taking too much off. Well, that's most of the way there, I think. Just need to do the ends. And the bits I've missed, got the hand sander like that. Right, I've decided I'm not happy enough with this, so I'm going to try a trick with a bit of vinegar. It's mostly water, but anyway. Just let that soak into the grain there to raise the grain, and then hopefully when we're sanding it, it'll make it slightly easier to get that spot there. Oh, and switch to 80 grit. Ah, the bag is full. Now that's getting a lot less noticeable. I mean, look at the color here versus there. So there's our mark. As you can see, it's very barely perceptible now, so I'm quite happy with that. Alright, so this will need a few finishing touches because this looks better than that now. That looks much better, much better. I'm happy with that now. Okay, dust free. That means we can start thinking about gluing. So I'm just lining up the holes. Don't know which way to put it. Probably way too much glue, as I normally put on. Oh yeah, sawdust. Whew. Just gotta 6. Just a wet cloth to wipe away the excess. Nothing fancy. Just get this nail head below the surface so I can put some wood filler in there. Same for the one on the end. Right, so we've got a few clamps on there now. Should help. Let it dry. I forgot to put the wood filler on top of the hot nail heads after I punched them in. That looks way too dry. Added some hot water. I'm pretty good at making a mess with this stuff. There we go. Just let it dry, then you can either use a damp cloth or sandpaper. So we'll see what we want to do later. Right, it's time to remove the clamps. Oops. Okay, not looking too bad. Just need to sand these little bits of wood filler all along here. Sanding block is a good idea. Now we can barely see the little dots. There's one here, which is very hard to see, and well, you get the idea. Just dust it off. See, we've got one nail stuck through here, and also this doesn't seem to be aligned very well. I've tried to reuse the existing holes that were here, so I'm going to try and test fit this and see how it works. So in a nutshell, we've got a gap here when this is touching. So that tells me I need to take this down with a belt sander, the top piece, the beading, to match this, and I've got the same problem. At the other side there, you can see there's a gap. It's touching over here, but anyway, so we're going to be sanding this again on the belt sander. Woohoo! Alright, so there's the after, and that gap there is much smaller. You can see. What we can see though is that it still touches here, but not here, because I've effectively taken off too much in some places and not enough in other places, which, you know, is par for the course when it comes to woodwork, and you're just freehanding stuff. But on this side, you can see we've got quite a big gap still. I mean, I can put the entire pencil down there, and it's obviously touching not so much here, but over here. So what we'll do is we'll start marking this spot here where it touches the pencil. So from here to here, which is here, so that means we need to take this off, which makes sense. I mean, there's even the nail sticking out, or a nail. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so there, especially there. A touch here. All I'm doing is putting, some hash marks here where it's touching the wall and not where there are gaps. Let's give it another go. Right, so I think that's probably acceptable now. Can't really get my fingernail in there. And then I've got this side pretty good as well. You can't fit a piece of paper in some of these places, and other places you can't fit a fingernail. So, yeah, that's much better. Let's get wood preservating or varnishing. See, it's changed color. It's nice and dry now. It's 2 days later. Mixing it with terps, or thinning it with terps, really does allow the first coat to sink right in. So just a bit of sandpaper, just to very lightly smooth this off. Little bits and pieces get stuck on here, dirt or whatever. And this is 280 grit, by the way. You can see it even says finishing paper. And when I say lightly, I mean lightly. And the second coat, dilute by 10%. Cool. Okay. Dust removal. Mineral terps, 10%. There we go. And we're going to start with the bottom, because then we can turn it over. And this side we're not really going to look at. So if we do manage to mess it up a bit, it'll be okay. Starting to get the shine now. Starting to shine, hey? So as the coats build up is how you get the glossy effect. And see, sanding it doesn't mess it up. As long as you do it lightly. Anyway, one more coat and then we can put it back. Righty, and here's off the third coat. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of a shine on here. I mean, this is light. Shiny, shiny, alright? Just light reflections. I think it's ready to get it installed. Shiny. And there we go. We've got one super shiny mantelpiece now. Nice.